and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 15 of the Christmas Craft Countdown, where I'm releasing a new Christmas craft every day for 20 days. Today's project is a super cute, adorable glitter ornament, which looks like a little unicorn. So what we're going to do is glitter the inside of the ornament using my super amazing, easy, quick drying method. And then we're going to decorate the outside with some vinyl and also cut some foam for the horn and the ears, put it all together and make our gorgeous little unicorn. Let's find out how to get all the files you'll need to make the bauble. First, you need to download the cutting file to make this project. If you aren't already signed up to the Christmas Craft Countdown, go to craftwithsarah.com/Christmas 2021 to join. If you have already purchased the countdown, go to craftwithsarah.com/login to log in to your account and access all of the Christmas Craft Countdown files. Once logged in, click into the Christmas Craft Countdown. Scroll down the page and all the files will become available on the date specified. The files do not expire, so you can download them at any time. The unicorn file to make this project is under day 15. After downloading the cutting files, you'll need to unzip the folder that they come in. If you aren't sure how to do that, check the link in the description of this video, which contains instructions on how to unzip folders on Windows computers, Macs, and Android and iPhone devices. To glitter up our baubles, we need some glitter. I've got some extra fine white glitter. We need some kitchen towel, just a little pile, which we're going to drain the bauble onto. Some hairspray, and I like maximum hold or firm hold hairspray, and this should be hairspray that turns to liquid when you spray it. And then of course our bauble. This is the pack that I'm using, which I got on Amazon, and they're sort of flat baubles rather than being completely spherical. So here we go. Because it's flat, it means it's going to be a little bit easier to add the vinyl. So I'm going to glitter this. I'm going to take the top off and it just pulls out. And then with my hairspray, give it a little shake. And then we're going to spray it inside. Now you might want to do this in a well-ventilated room because obviously there's quite a lot of vapours going to come out. So just position the spray into the hole and then we're going to press and hold for about 5 seconds. Okay, so you can see you've got the liquid in there now. There we go, that's easier. And now I'm just going to swirl it round so that that liquid hairspray coats all of the inside. I'm just going to bring this back in. I know it's harder to see, but I don't want to leak hairspray all over my work surface. So I'm just moving it all around and it will be quite cold, and also making sure it all touches inside the rim. So that should be covering everywhere. And now I can just hold it upside down for a few seconds for any excess to drain out. Give it a little tap. And then whilst that's draining, I'll open up the glitter. Okay. Now I'm going to pour a load of glitter in. Oops, that went all over my work surface. This is why I should be doing it over the towel. And then all you need to do is just move the glitter around the bauble and it's going to stick to that hairspray, and you can see where it is, so you can see if you've got any bits that you need to fill in. And if you end up with any gaps, you can always pour some more hairspray, pour some more glitter in. Don't put more hairspray in because it will dislodge what's already there. And that's covered it perfectly, and then I can just tap out any excess. And if you wanted to, you could put this back in your pot, but I don't, just in case it has got any hairspray mixed in with it. But then there we go, that is our bauble perfectly glittered all the way around. Now I did this technique last year on some baubles that sort of pull apart in half, and I've looked at them again this year, so a year later, and they are still perfect. The glitter is still everywhere on them. So I do think this is a really nice method, and now this is dry. We don't need to wait for it to dry. It's all just ready. I do like to leave mine for 24 hours before I put the tops on, just, as that extra precaution, but you don't really need to if you don't want to. So for the sake of this video, I will just put the lid straight back on. And then it's got these two little spiky bits, so you need to pull them in, hold them. They like to pop out again, so there we go. And then just put them in, being careful not to scrape the sides. And then it will just pop on. And there we go, ready for vinyl. Here is the Unicorn SVG from the download folder uploaded into Cricut Design Space. If you're not sure how to upload files, then check out pretty much any of my other videos on YouTube, as they include instructions on how to do that. We need to make a template to know how big to cut this out so that it will actually fit onto the ornament, and for that we need to measure the ornament. We can now measure the ornament to see how big to make the vinyl designs in Design Space. This would be easier with a cloth ruler, material one, because it will bend around, but I don't have one of them, so I'm going to do it with my metal ruler. Luckily this does have a little bit of a bend to it. So you're just measuring across to work out how big to make the designs, and I reckon about 2 3/4 inches. That's kind of the measurement from one side to the other. So I'm going to use that as my base to make a template in Cricut Design Space. Now I know the size, I can go into shapes and choose a circle, and then make this the size that we measured, so 2.75 inches. And I'll just change it to white so it's got an outline. And I'm using this as a basic guide, so this is roughly the size of my ornament. I'll zoom in a bit in Design Space so it's easier to see. Oh, where's it gone? And now you've got your template. We need to move this so it sits above it, so go Arrange, Center Front. And now you can have a play about with the size until you're happy with where it will sit on the size of the ornament. And you don't need to worry too much about things like the ears actually lining up, because obviously once it's cut, you'll be able to move them about. It won't all be joined together like this. But we're just using it as a very kind of basic guide to check the size. And when you're happy, move it over to one side and delete the circle. And then we can think about cutting this out. How this will work is the ears, the horn, and the mane will be cut from craft foam, and then the nose and the eyes and the little pink bit here will be cut from adhesive vinyl, either permanent or removable. I'm using my Cricut Maker and the knife blade to cut the foam, but you can also do it with a deep cut blade. If your machine isn't capable of cutting foam, or if you don't have the right blades, then check out the PDF guide in the download folder that came with this design, because I've got a printable version in there that you can print out on a printer and then use it as a template to cut it out from the foam just with a pair of scissors rather than using your Cricut. And that actually can be a much quicker way to do it than by doing each bit individually on the Cricut. But in case you do want to do it on your Cricut, I'll show you how. To cut foam, you want a strong grip Cricut mat. Cut your piece of foam to size and then place it over on the top left. I'm going to press this down with my brayer to make sure it's really well stuck. We don't want it peeling off when it's trying to be cut. And then use some washi tape or masking tape or painter's tape, any kind of tape really, along the edge of each of the bits of foam. Again, just to make sure it's absolutely not going to move on that mat. So I'm going ahead now and adding tape to all 4 of those sides to make sure it's completely covered. This is the knife blade, and that's what I'm going to be using as I find it's best to cut the foam. So I need to open clamp B, which is the one with the blade in, take out my fine point blade and put in the knife blade instead. So that just sits in there, close it all up, and now it's ready. To cut craft foam in Design Space, connect to your machine, and then when it goes to set base material, click into Browse All Materials. Type in foam in the All Materials section, and then choose Craft Foam, and then press Done. This will tell you what it needs you to do, so move those star wheels along, and then I'm going to use default pressure. Now this wants me to load the deep cut blade, but I'm not going to do that. I want the knife blade because I know that works better for cutting foam. To change it, click Edit Tools and then click on the knife blade and press Apply. And now that will change, so now it says load the knife blade, so we can go ahead and load the mat. These little white wheels inside your Cricut move, and we want to move them all the way over to the sides because otherwise they'll damage the foam when it goes through. They can be quite stiff and hard to move, so just bear with it, keep going until you've wiggled them all the way to the edge. It's time to put the mat in the Cricut, so slide it under the little plastic bits and press the load button. When your Cricut is ready, go ahead and press the flashing go button. And first it will take the mat in and then move the blade all the way over to the edge and just whir about a bit. And this is just checking that your knife blade is in. My tape was coming up a bit, so I just stuck it down. And now the knife blade is going to do its work and cut everything out. You might notice it makes some little strange noises and goes up and down a lot of the time. And that's because this is more like a scalpel blade, so it can only move in one direction and it can't turn corners very well. So instead of a smooth corner like a normal blade, it has to do it in little tiny pieces. Another thing to note is that when you're cutting foam, it will do 2 passes, which means it will cut everything out and then, without ejecting the mat, it will automatically do exactly the same cut in the same places. And that's to make sure that it will definitely go all the way through the foam when it's cutting. So don't panic if it looks like it's starting again once you think it should have finished. Once it's finished, try and peel a little bit out just to make sure it has cut through. If it hasn't, you can press the go button again to make it repeat the cut, but mine's cut through so I can eject my mat and then this is ready for me to move on to the next colour. I've cut out all of the foam and the vinyl, so now I can add it to the bauble. I've put the little top back on, and you do need to be a bit careful when squidging it on that you don't scratch any of the glitter off with the little spikes that go down in. I've got a glue gun heating up over here to add all the flowers. I've got my foam horn and ears and the little bit of the mane there, and then the vinyl details. I've got an alcohol pad which I'll use to wipe this before I add the vinyl on to clean it. And then I have lots and lots of pre-made flowers. In this little tub here, you can't really see because of the light, but this is full with even more flowers. Now you could make your own if you wanted to, but I'm using pre-made ones because I seem to have quite a collection of them. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to clean the front of my bauble with an alcohol wipe. And this is going to get off all of the fingerprints and any dirt that's on there so that my vinyl will stick better. So just a nice wipe all the way across here. And then I'll leave that a moment to dry. I've already stuck the little black nose and mouth bits to the flesh coloured bit of the nose. It looks like a smiley face. But this is going to go onto the front, and then we've got the eyes. The ears are made up of several different layers. We've got the white and the pink. And I'm just going to use a bit of my normal glue to glue the pink bits on. Just a bit on that one. Okay. I'm going to put it kind of in the middle. And then the other one. There. Okay. My glue gun seems to be getting nice and hot. I'm going to do the vinyl first. So first let's do the little nose. I'm not using transfer tape for this because it's only one piece. So I think it should just stick on fine. Because the bauble's a bit curved, it's not going on amazingly well. I think it'll be fine. Because it's quite a big bit of vinyl, so it's trying to curve around the corners. I might need to have a play with that in a bit. Maybe move it up a bit. And I've got the eyes. Again, I'm just going to place them on. If I put them a bit higher, then I can move that nose up. Try and crease it a bit less. That's a bit better. Okay. And then the other eye. There we go. So it's up to you where you place it all, really, to get the unicorn effect. But now we've got the ears and the horn and the little bit of hair going down the middle. I'll start with the hair. I'm going to put a bit of glue gun, hot glue, onto the front there. Just turn that down a bit. And then stick the little bit of mane to it. And for the ears, oops, my other glue hadn't quite dried. I just moved it. There you go. I think I'll put the ears down sort of next to the clip. So again, just a blob of glue. And don't worry about being super neat because we can cover it up with the flowers in a minute. I have actually just pushed the pink on the top of that down into the glue gun as well. I just think it will probably actually stick it a little bit easier. And then the same on the other side for the other ear. Oh no, glue gun string. Yeah, that glue hadn't dried at all, that other one. Maybe that wasn't the best thing to use. But the glue gun is working well. Okay. Yeah. And then lastly, we've got the unicorn horn, which is going to go on top. Leave enough room that you can still fit your ribbon through the little hole in the top of the bauble. So I'll line mine up along there. And then just push it into the glue. And it should stand up of its own accord. If it doesn't, then you might just need to cut a little bit off the bottom to make it a bit shorter and then try again. Just wait for that to harden. And there's my little unicorn. It looks a little bit special with the nose. I might actually just take that off and have it with only the eyes. Maybe I'll decide at the end. But next what we have are all of these flowers to go along the top. And I've got quite a lot of different ones in all different sizes. I'm going to have a play. This is where it gets fun. These ones might be a bit big. And I'm going to have to try and cut the wire off. Oh, that actually came off really easy. Okay. I don't know, actually that one's probably a bit big. Yeah, they're probably a bit big. Okay. Let's go smaller. And these are just collected over the years from different craft stores and online. I tend to get them if I see them on clearance. So most of them have been got on sale. Doing this off camera pretty much. Need to move it up a bit. So I'm just going to go through and add a load of different flowers. Here's my finished unicorn bauble, and I actually decided I didn't like the nose, so I took that off and then I recut the eyes to make them a bit bigger because it looked a little bit small without that nose shape. You can see I've added in lots of different flowers all the way along the top, and then on the back it's still got that loop free so that I can thread some ribbon through it to hang it on my tree. So this unicorn design is available within the Christmas Craft Countdown. But if you have Craft Clubhouse, you can get these extras. So we've got a little llama. And I actually did like how his nose looks. So There we go, there's him. And we've got a reindeer with a little red nose, so obviously this is Rudolph. And then a dog with these cute little ears. I think this flower I put on the top was probably a little bit big. It looks a bit like a hat, but he is very cute. And then finally we have a cat design. And again, the flower's probably a bit big. So hopefully you can see all of those. And together they make this wonderful collection. They're going to look lovely on my Christmas tree and I can't wait to hang them up. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to make a glitter unicorn ornament for your Christmas tree. If you'd like to make more of these, then I have 4 more designs available: a reindeer, a dog, a cat, and a llama. These designs are all available inside Craft Clubhouse, which is my exclusive area filled with Cricut crafts, projects, vinyl, cardstock, all of that, all contained in my members only area. To find out more, head to craftwithsarah.com/clubhouse. I'll be back tomorrow with another Christmas craft project, but until then, thank you for watching. Bye!